Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to Spotlight On. Today I'll be talking with actor Collin Pelton about filmmaking and social media, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Spotlight On. So like I said, I'll be talking with actor Collin Pelton, and this music you hear right now is from a film, which we'll talk about momentarily, that he is a big part of called Coveting Roses.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here. I love your guys' show. It's very new and innovative. You get right into it and you actually do your research. It's impressive.
Woohoo, well thank you. I did watch your film, so tell us what Coveting Roses is, how it got filmed, and your involvement with it.
Sure.
And plot.
Of course. If you want to care about that little storytelling thing. Coveting Roses came about in the most sort of romantic way a film can come about. We had the notion to get together all of the people that we enjoyed making films with, whether it was short film, experimental, 48-hour film festivals, just the history of the body of work that you have after being in Los Angeles for X amount of years. I was an import, so most of these people were sort of like my new family. And we had the option of assembling our own team, which we excitedly did.
Which city 48 hour did you enter in?
We did Los Angeles.
Okay.
I've done Los Angeles in the past and San Diego in the past just as an actor, but this was the first time I was taking it on as a team leader, an executive producer. I wasn't sure I could do it, and I basically surrounded myself with people that I knew would either have my back if I sort of let things fall, if I didn't know things as a producer. I'd either be learning by doing, or they would say, you know, in the past we've done it this way, why don't you try that while we're right there in the mix of things. And if you haven't done a 48-hour film festival, there's actually a registration going on right now for this year, if you're interested. But it forces you into an environment where you have to write, shoot, edit in a 48-hour period of time, sometimes cast if you don't have the actors immediately available. You have to search for them in that period of time as well. And I was lucky enough to have a full, very collaborative group of people that said, we'll do this thing. We got silent film, which was a little bit of a challenge.
So this was a category you got randomly?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The way the 48-hour film festival works is every team member, and there were 170 registered teams that we competed against.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few. And the most elite teams, because it is Los Angeles and the best equipment, you're really going into the lion's den. And we, all the teams are given a prop, which in our case was a plastic bottle, which you'll see in the film. A character, in our case it was David Stott. We coach David Stott, and then a line of dialogue. Now, I did just tell you that we got silent film, so that obviously will present a few problems, but our line of dialogue was like, why did you do that? And we had to take those elements and wrap them into a film, and then randomly choose the genre that we were going to be performing.
Okay. So who ends up choosing the genre?
Whichever producer representative is there. We actually sent the majority of our team to the location, which was Santa Monica Sea Market in Santa Monica. And we sent another producer and his partner to the actual place where you draw out of a hat, basically.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's just like a little piece of paper, and here's my destiny
silent.
going to So they pulled silent film, and in that moment, you have the ability to put it back and draw another one, and then of course you're completely stuck with that second one, or you rock with what you were given. We had actually some trouble with our sound equipment, so when we pulled silent film, we went.
Perfect.
You know what? Let's go with it.
Yeah, sound is one of the hardest ones to get right.
It's 50% of the film, and people don't realize that.
Yes.
You know, you take out the ability to say a single sentence, let alone like, okay, we have a line of dialogue that we have to say. How are we going to do it? You know, Charlie Chaplin has been effectively communicating for a long time in silent film, and give him some lines, and he, can't perform the same way. But in this case, we thought, well, recently we've had The Artist, and it did really well. And I have been playing around with, in a couple of my other stories as a writer, duality, where we go in our minds when we're bored or distracted or anything along those lines. I swear I'm an actor. I swear I can speak.
Words, they express things.
Yes, as Shakespeare said, words, words, words. And I found an opportunity to explore a darker character, a really intense aspect of filmmaking in the American Psycho sort of feeling. We'd just watched that, one of the directors, Masahiro Jackson, and I, and to sort of warm him up to the idea of directing me, and to warm myself up in his directing style, because it had been maybe 3 years since we had worked together. We invited one of the actresses that was slated to be in the film. Her name was Chelsea Ray Bernier, and we did a short film together. Explored all kinds of wonderful emotional boundaries. Both of us are just like sobbing during this process, and we shot this beautiful black and white film. But we didn't do anything with it at the time, but it allowed us to warm up. And since we had already warmed up with a silent film, the fact that we drew silent film, we're just like, we're gonna take this home. We had a really amazing setup, and Jim Hanks, who is our director of photography and our co-director, he took on the other aspect of the film, the lighter aspect, the more reality-based, looking at my character, who is kind of, shy, socially awkward, surrounded by beautiful coworkers, male and female, and just not really knowing how to operate in that space. And then where his head might go was where Masahiro Jackson took over, and it's this darker, more aggressive, especially towards women, which I think is a narrative that needs to be explored right now. We have some violence towards women that's not appropriate, and I kind of wanted to explore where that comes from, where we are in our heads, where we might feel that action is justified. And on the set, I was called Creepy Collin a lot. I got to explore what it was like. I'm glad I'm not that type of person, but it was really fun to be there as a performer, to take something that I had written, and with a wonderful, talented people, Jim being one of the writers, Masa being one of the writers, Michael D. Preston being another one, and having even them turn to me and say, can you do this? I mean, this is a very, very challenging part. You have to communicate a lot with not a lot. So to potentially rise up to that challenge as a performer was very, very exciting for me.
So in the end, you were executive producer, one of the co-writers, right? It was you and someone else, and then
there was 4
lead
of
actor.
us. Yes.
And then did you do anything else? Anything else, anymore, because you're not doing enough already.
Right. Well, it was a learning experience, and I feel like in learning experience, you need to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel that as a team leader and as executive producer...
Oh, there you go. You were the team leader. That was the other one.
The one that has to sign everything. When I stepped into the acting role, I felt like I dropped the ball in a lot of different ways. And to have people like Michael Preston, and to have people like Todd Mathis, who was one of our actors as well, and he's a talented actor and a talented producer. He helped me out with the paperwork. Michael Preston would help me out with direction, and actually became sort of a first AD as well as our coach, which was fun to kind of reverse that. He's not really a performer, but he did a pretty good job. And to see where I needed work by being in that environment and seeing kind of where the slack needed to be pulled in.
Actually, speaking of reacting, let's pull up. We have a photo from it while they're grabbing that. Something else you had mentioned before the interview was how with casting you were interested in getting particular people.
Yeah, I have a notion. I'm a bit of a feminist, or you might call me more of an equalist, I guess you could say. I have a drive to bring my films, because they're mine, so I have a little bit of control over them, to have at least 50% female and 50% veterans. I myself, as a veteran, am a veteran. I work with a lot of veterans, both in Veterans in Film and Television, which is a wonderful organization you can check out both online, Facebook and stuff, and in my own personal business. I have my own company, and I have veterans that work with me and for me that I rely on very much. And I want to bring that kind of professionalism to all of my productions. So most of them will be at least 50% male-female or female-male ratio, and at least 50% for veterans. Some of our veterans, like Drea Garcia, who you'll see in the film, she is both a veteran and a female producer, actress, multi-talent, and we like to empower those people. Just empowering everyone is kind of our game.
That's great.
And using film and story, making your empowering somebody with a story and entertainment, and then B, you're giving someone a job that may not have had that opportunity before.
Very cool. So we have this nice dark, in more ways than one, image of you, and then I love this shot during the film because I like the lighting of it, and it created a almost eerie romantic, because that red rose and the dark, not quite silhouette, but those intense shadows. Yeah,
the lighting here, I'm gonna give credit to Jim Hanks. And
that's another good one too.
That's one of my favorites too. My brother took that photo. They set up this room so that we had this fall off lighting, so you couldn't really figure out how deep the shadows were. You didn't know.
It's very effective.
The length. Thank you. I'll definitely tell him you said that. You're not sure about the space, and we loved playing with that. When I went to school, film school at CSUN, we did this thing called Rembrandting, which was making images like that were just very provocative and telling something beyond just performing, and really creating a bond between the filmmaker, the person behind the camera, and the person in front of the camera. And that was one of the few films where I got to be more involved with the process, and I got to understand a little bit more about filmmaking and storytelling as an actor, as all these other aspects. I really, really recommend any actor who is serious about this is a marathon career, just step behind the camera for a little bit, and sometimes in the same production, know what it's like to work with an actor, know what it's like to be the person who has to get the lighting right on your face, and see what that feels like. Does it feel like I'm well lit? And work with your crew, because they're the ones who are making you look good.
Very true.
And that was one of the biggest lessons. And I had the best crew, Edgar Sunya and Jameson Reeves, who's actually an actor also. They're all part of Feet First Films, and another one of my brothers, Jay Ruggieri, who's an amazing DP and actually took a back seat so that he could edit this, because he felt that was one of the best places that he could push this forward. Because as you've seen, Jim Hanks did an amazing job lighting and shooting this. It's, I think, one of his best director of photography pieces.
So if people want to watch it now, they can go to
YouTube. Okay. We've been on YouTube for a little while. We tried to put in highest quality we could get up there. Just search for Coveting Roses. We're the only one. It's also on my channel. YouTube, I guess there's /user/Collin Pelton. Is the way you find it. But I tried to make it easy to get to, and make it a good quality so you can watch it in full screen if you wanted to.
Nice. Now, you mentioned you have a business. Let's talk a little bit about more this other job.
Okay.
Or thing you do. So why don't you explain?
All right. When I came to this town, like many of the actor-writer hybrids, you think, I have something to offer. I'm a talented writer. I'm a talented actor. And that's what I can bring to this town. But you realize very quickly that there are 50,000 other talented writers, and there are 500,000 other talented actors. 5,000 of them look like you. And, there's going to be another 25,000 that come in next year, and 50,000 are going to go home after trying it this year. And it's a cycle. And what do you have to offer that's any different from any of these? You might have a different look or a different take on something, and that's great. But there are already people doing this that look like you, that are you. And I thought, I want to contribute something else to this town. what is unique to me and what do I uniquely have to offer that nobody else does. And my father was actually the one who put me on one of my first campaigns after I unsuccessfully tried to launch a pilot by myself, where I had put one of the more aggressive social media campaigns together for a pilot in 2010, before they even had a social media campaign. I was doing practices that people were just, I don't even know what you're doing, but this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. And we
Interesting.
raised a fan page to like 2,500 likes with no media or anything on it. And we were doing pretty well. We had an awesome show. And then it all just sort of fell apart. And as often happens, you know, whether it's a paperwork thing or whatever, sometimes productions don't go through. And, you know, I wasn't going to dwell on that, just sort of move on. And my dad had hired me to do the same thing I did for this television show for his bamboo architecture called Eco-Terrestrial Concepts. So I sat in Hawaii, bummer, on a Kona coffee farm. Terrible. Watching sunrises and sunsets for 2.5 months and photographing this structure, putting it out on social media. And I learned that I did have something unique. I knew how to create a voice, and I used my training in film and television and entertainment right to social media. And then I realized there was a lot of other people that didn't know how to do it very well. That knew that they needed to get the word out on social media, quote unquote, but they didn't know what that meant. They didn't know how to engage the audience or show them appreciation. They didn't recognize that there are many elements for something to go viral, and they're just thinking, oh, this celebrity has 100,000 likes, he just retweets it and it's good. What happens if the celebrity doesn't want to retweet it, even if he's in the show? There are a lot of active celebrities with high following that don't really like using social media. So your strategy is to force them to do something you don't want to do. That doesn't seem like it's going to work out very well. So enter me. I talk to these guys and I help them work within the social media realm that's comfortable for them. There's a lot of people that don't like social media. They don't want to be that accessible, but it's really important for their career that they have a presence. So I help them make a less jarring entry into the world, or we work together and do video blogs so they don't have to type messages and worry about sending out the wrong tweet at the wrong time or not using the right hashtag or anything else like that. I end up being sort of a digital manager of sorts.
Now, how do you feel you're different from like a website like Hootsuite where you can schedule your social media posts?
Oh, I think Hootsuite has absolutely its place. There's so much information that needs to be put out, especially if you're running a television show or even a web series. You have memes and promotional material that you want all your fans to have so they can have the best live tweeting session possible, and you want to participate with them, but that kind of stuff can be scheduled. Now, sometimes in Hootsuite, Twitter, you're dealing with, you want to push stuff out on a regular basis. Things like Facebook, you can schedule them within the platform. But sometimes you want to be organic. Sometimes you want to reach in there and touch your audience. Sometimes you have something to say that you can't schedule or you don't care when it goes out. It's happening now. And social media doesn't have hours. They have times that things are more active, and if you've ever experienced Twitter after certain hours, it gets really interesting. If you're not live tweeting, that is. But what I found was Twitter and Facebook and Instagram had a window into some of the most wonderful people on this planet that are artistically contributing to our pop culture in the most amazing ways that affect us, that make us quote them, make us do what they do. And to give someone like a fan the ability to communicate with their favorite person, celebrity, artist, all depends on how you classify yourself. You can even your favorite company or television show, studio, anything, and reach out and tell them, hey, you affected me in this very positive way. I want you to know that. And all that celebrity has to do is like their comment. That person is now validated. That person is like, I got to tell my favorite celebrity how I felt, and he heard it, or she heard it.
Yeah, it's much more instant now. I as well have noticed the amazing capabilities of social media, because you can reach out to these people that previously are pretty much unattainable to your average person, but now you can actually say something at them, and when they are more active in response to the fans, such as the new thing of live tweeting with the show, it definitely bolsters up the mass appeal of a television show, because then they feel involved.
Yeah. One of my favorite examples, you know Cass Envar.
Tell our viewers who Cass is.
Okay, Cass Envar is the voice of Altair. That's how I know him. I met him at Kamikaze.
And just if people don't know who that is.
Oh, Altair from Assassin's Creed. If you haven't played Assassin's Creed, I'm a big gamer. I'm a big geek, so you're probably going to hear some geeky things from me, even though I'm a filmmaker. Assassin's Creed was a big part of my life, and I got into cosplay in like 2013, and I went to Kamikaze. It was one of my first conventions, and one of my dear friends said, "Hey, Altair is here. Come meet him." And of course, I come running, and it's Cass Envar.
Cool.
And prior to that moment, and this definitely speaks to social media, you don't actually know sometimes who the voices of your favorite characters are.
Oh, yeah. That's
social media bridges that gap for you. You know, what if you're just searching for, favorite Hulk? Okay, I love Hulk. Fred Tedesari, I think I'm saying his name right, has voiced Hulk for like 20 years. He's also contributed to so many films, but his voice or just his person, he's a wonderful man. And he's not on social media. And I got to meet him once in person. We were both at a Toys for Tot event, and there's someone who I would have been searching for online, especially like while I was watching Hulk Agents of Smash. It's a Hulk-oriented show. Love the show. Love Marvel stuff. And I was tweeting Seth Green, who's I think a producer and one of the main actors on that, and Elijah Dushku, who's on that as well. But I couldn't tweet the star of the show. And I would have looked for him. I would have found him all on social media had he had a presence. Cass just had started his presence not too long before I had shown up. And I never even thought to follow voice actors to my favorite thing. And here he was setting that precedence for me. Here I am a very active social media person, and I'm not even interacting with the people that contributed to my favorite games. So he opened up a world to me, and I opened up a world to him. I was like, well, you have a pretty big fan following. When's your next convention? And it ended up being WonderCon, or I think he was going to Comic-Con. So we started talking together and trying different social media things, and eventually I can call myself fortunate to be one of his apprentices in business and in acting. He talks to me about what what it's like to be a working actor, what auditions are like, getting conventions after you have an established franchise, and what that business is like. And he's talked me through this for the past couple of years, and I've got to watch him land Olympus and be a part of The Expanse, having worked with all the amazing people that he's worked with. I got to see what the audition process was like for him. So he, as a celebrity and working actor, opened this door to me, and I thought, Cass, you have to keep going. You have to open this door to more than just me. You have to talk about your life and what it is to be an actor, and you need to get on shows more and tell us what this is all about. And then, of course, we end up on your show. Well, he does, not me, but I definitely watched it. And that process a lot of people don't know about, but social media allows people to, oh, this is what his life is like. This is what it's like to see him in articles and interviews and getting a major show and being a part of it, maybe going on to season 2, which I would like to think social media had everything to do with that.
Sure. Sci-Fi did a great job, I think, with their shows these past seasons of being very great job of interacting with the fans via social media. Now, you and Cass have a project coming up. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we do. My involvement of it, of course, is going to be more on the social media side of the house. He's given me, luckily, free reign to do whatever I want on the social media side and really push the boundaries of what a show / feature film can do in the social media realm. It's called Assassin's Odyssey, and you can find it on Facebook. You'll see even a trailer of one of the first rounds of stunts that we've done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very fun.
So if you're an Assassin's Creed fan.
Yes, and you like swords. Who doesn't
Or
like
fighting
swords?
or all that stuff.
Stunts and high action or whatever. You'll see the beginnings of a franchise being put together. We like to draw the curtain back and show you what it's like to put all of this energy into a film and be a part of a labor of love, be a part of that, assassin army. In fact, we're looking for an assassin army. So if you're out there, you're on Facebook and you're into Assassin's Creed, Cass Envar's work, or hell, you just want to talk a little bit more to me, find us on Facebook. Assassin's Odyssey would definitely need your support.
Now, what are some tips you would suggest to new actors, filmmakers, anybody who's really getting into social media that, your average person, yes, they use it too, but the people who want to promote themselves, what are some do's and don'ts you would say of the trade of social media?
The biggest thing is being authentic. You have to be, like they said to Ophelia, to thine own self be true. And if you're not authentic, they'll sniff you out right away. There's a big drive to get as many following as you possibly can, and people will pose practically nude to attain that, whether it's on a visual medium or some other format. And I want to say, if that's your brand, if that's what you want people to know you for, then that's perfectly acceptable. Kim Kardashian did something with it.
I have a friend on Twitter I found out after I met her working with her, she's an adult film star, and I'm like,
oh,
cool.
Awesome.
That's what you do.
And I hear the pay is great and the check's
Twitter
clear.
Doesn't care on...
No, there's no restriction.
Instagram has filters.
Yes, and
But
I
Twitter's
think Vine has a few filters too.
I don't use Vine. So there you go. Okay, yeah. After do's and don'ts, we'll talk about which platforms you like the best. But continue with do's and don'ts. So yes,
so do's
be
and
authentic.
don'ts. Be authentic. You want
to thine own self be true.
To thine own self be true. You want to feel good about who you are, even on the digital world, because you're leaving that footprint forever. Unless you physically delete what you put out there, you're putting your mark on the digital pyramids for the future digital architects to read and devour. What are they going to say about you back in 2016? Were you positively pushing out the best message you possibly could? Or were you a part of a negativity or hate stream? Were you bullying others, or were you encouraging people to pursue their passions? So I would say contribute in the best possible way you can. Follow people that you admire. Appreciate what they do. That means you like and retweet what they do. And, don't be afraid to retweet. It doesn't really matter if it's on your profile or if it's not. You're becoming a numbered group of people that were part of a particular movement. Take your favorite photo or your favorite meme. You're putting your stamp behind it. You're associating yourself with that. One of the things that I like to do is I like to like a lot. And part of it is I'm cataloging, because Twitter keeps storage of all the things you like. I'm cataloging what happened when, what people were talking about, what were the biggest trends, and sometimes I put them on my feed. And you'll find that even reviewing your own feed will give you a history lesson of what you were going through at the time. And even reviewing that is like, oh, this is a mini journal. Oh, I remember when I did that. I just recently tweeted James Gunn, me personally, and he liked it. I felt great about that. But I put a little effort into the tweet. I tried to make it a little funny, and I put a little Loki picture in it and stuff, because he's part of the Marvel universe, and I do cosplay that. So I just wanted to let him know, I'm a geek like you too. We're on the same team. And I think that's the other part of social media is find your team. You've got cheerleaders out there that are going to support your work, no matter if you have 5 followers or 500,000 followers. Everybody has cheerleaders. Everybody appreciates contribution, And if you're not in a world where you're not being appreciated, keep finding people. Keep liking other stuff so that people like your stuff. Maybe they just don't know about you yet. It's literally the digital voice. It's your digital democracy, if you will.
Now, you kind of touched on it, was saying, don't put out hateful stuff. Are there any major, don't do that on social media, you would say?
Well, the biggest things are you want to have attention to detail. If you want to be a part of a hashtag, for instance, make sure the hashtag is spelled correctly.
Yes, spelling nerds.
If you want to mention someone, a celebrity, or that sort of thing, make sure you're spelling it right. There's another one. Look them up before you tweet them.
Yes.
I would also say don't tweet drunk.
That's probably good advice. That's like bad drunk texting. It's
Yeah, well, the whole especially with alcohol, it reduces your inhibitions, so your executive function is not going to be there, and you never know what you're going to say. You might regret it the next day, unless you're making like a joke about it, or one of your friends is watching your feed and just like, oh, we're gonna go crazy here, but it lives forever. So
There's a whole show on that right now on MTV, the like Internet Ruined My Life.
wow, I did not know that.
Yes. I've seen the previews for it when watching some of the after shows, and yeah, it's all about. I mean, I can't tell what all the different things are, and obviously they're just kind of giving you those teasers, but it is focusing on how you put it out there. It's out there permanently.
Yeah.
Because even if you delete it, there's still maybe other breadcrumbs around. I kind of want
People could retweet it,
yes,
for instance.
exactly. You wouldn't know. I've done it where I've spelt something wrong, and I'm like, damn nabbits. It's like, I hate it when you did it through Instagram, so you've like linked them all, and you're just like, you have to go find them. So speaking of Instagram, what are some of your favorite social media platforms to get messages out about? Like, I feel maybe the main people who would appreciate this are if you have a project, or you're an actor, or a business person of any sort, but yourself is the business as well. So what are the best social media platforms to get your brand out there?
Starting with Instagram, it's a visual medium. And a lot of people like that work on your most basic companies, small business and so forth will think, oh, well, how would I use Instagram? Tell your story. Talk about the people that contribute to your company. Take staff meetings, take pictures of lunch dates, company outings, use it as a promotional flyer, for instance. For your acting, if you're an actor, I want to see video of you. I have 16 seconds to see your best work. Why aren't you showing it to me? I'm a producer, I'm a director, I live on Instagram just like you do. You liked my stuff and now I'm curious about you. I would make sure your branding, who you are, is very well written. You know, there's a lot of people that'd be like, I'm just a boy. I know that. I saw you without your shirt on. I know you're a boy. Putting something like that in your profile doesn't tell me anything about you. And I want to know more about you. Give me a reason to follow you. And that, of course, is cross-platform. Vine is good for comedy, I think. Great for videos, dancing, singing, even too. YouTube is long form video. Great for live, for gaming, and also the extension of your performance. I'm using YouTube to push my gaming. I do Twitch channels, and of course that's a total different social media platform.
It's a whole other ballgame too.
Yeah, but YouTube has the versatility of being part of the gaming and part of the vlogging, part of the shows, all of that.
And then what about Twitter? What do you think of Twitter?
Twitter is, someone said it best, and I'm just going to quote them, though I don't remember who said it, is, well, we'll do Facebook and Twitter at the same time. Facebook is who you went to school with. Twitter is who you wanted to go to school with. And then LinkedIn is an extension of that, who you wanted to work with.
LinkedIn's useful? I feel that's
For
one.
businesses, yes.
Yes. I was going to say, that's one where you have a LinkedIn, you're like, why?
Why? And actors will use it.
Yes, it's true.
To connect, because more executives are using it now, and I think it's important to take a look at the actor as some of them are artists, and that's what they want to be. Other ones are business people.
Yes.
And that's what they want to be. They want empires. You ask Bradley Cooper to slow down, he'll be like, yeah, slow down. Where that's like 6 movies a year, right? That's slow. So, I mean, everyone, of course, is to be treated as an individual, and you can use the social media to sort of be an extension of that. Facebook, now I'm really, really on board with what they're doing. They've got going live, which is amazing, and I hope you guys are going to start start taking advantage of this. You can go live from your app anywhere if you have the latest update. You don't even have to be verified. It's one of the coolest features.
And what does it do if you're going live on Facebook?
It's live video. So we're live now.
But it's a live video via Facebook.
Yeah, so I went live while I was at WonderCon, and I did a push-up challenge, for instance.
Yes.
I actually messed up during the push-up challenge, but that's how you know it's live, because I couldn't cut and go back and do it again. But it allows companies, celebrities to just, hey, come, I'm going to open up the doors and I'm going to walk right in. Been very impressed with that.
So instead of just a photo, you can now make it a live, because a photo is essentially live.
Yeah.
It's a moment captured right now.
Right there.
So it's just the video. So we're getting towards the end, but tell us a little bit, you wanted to talk about this push-up challenge thing?
Yes. So right now I have been challenged to a 22-a-day push-up challenge. It's 22 push-ups for 22 days to raise awareness for veteran suicide. A lot of people don't know that veterans are taking their lives 22 a day. That means in the time that we've spent here on the air, we have probably lost another veteran. So I felt it was important to champion this particular cause. I'm on day 4, and before we leave, I'm actually going to try and go live myself with a fellow veteran brother of mine, and also one of my ninjas. Yes, I have ninjas in my company. And we're going to do the push-up challenge together. We're also going to challenge a couple more people. And the whole idea is just sort of like the ice bucket challenge this is awareness.
Sure.
I bet a lot of people didn't even know what ALS was before the ice bucket challenge started coming around and major celebrities were doing it. I've actually challenged Cass to this as well, but he's, I think, traveling right now, so he hasn't busted out his push-ups yet. And there's a gamer that I really respect. He's on Twitch, and he's an actor and stuff. His name is Keahu Kohuinui, fellow Hawaiian. I'm not Hawaiian, but I was raised there. He's actually Hawaiian. And I challenged him too. He's big geek fitness and so forth too. And I'm hoping that they challenge some of the bigger names, like maybe Felicia Day or Will Wheaton or some of those folks. I will continue to try and affect the celebrities that have listened to me over the past for other social media things, and will use this as a social media endeavor that they'll trust me with. I have been known to cause a few international trends with my advice. So
Can you name one or two that people get a sample of that?
My first one was hashtag PFG14.
Okay.
It was a children's charity fundraiser. We unfortunately didn't reach our economic goals, but we absolutely reached our social media goals. I was
that's great.
only in charge of one of those things. So PFG Peace Fund Games 2014, we had a ton of celebrities there participating from all walks of life, reality, adults. Actually, we even had some film, television, music, just you name it, put on by Adrian Paul from the Highlander through his organization called the Peace Fund, which is a global children's effort. We trended before we finished very excitedly, and then we immediately lost the trend to the LA fire and that apartments that happened the exact same time.
Oh, wow.
So it was a short-lived victory, and since then we've helped other television shows reach their goals, some as high as 8.6 million impressions on the opening pilot. Yeah, we crashed the Twitter account. That was really awesome. I had nothing to do with
Can you say what show you crashed for?
No, I can't. Part of our thing is
That's why you're ninjas. Right?
That's why we're ninjas. We are a social media stealth marketing company. The idea behind one of the practices of the Air Force, you send a team to mark a target, and then the target blows up. But on the internet, it's actually a good thing when a target blows up. And nobody knew there was a team there. Nobody knew we was involved, because it's not about us. It's not about ego. We train people to be better social media users. Every single actor, writer, director that has ever worked with us has seen a huge influx of following, interactions, trends. We've been a major part of getting them kind of to their particular social media goals, whether it be a really, really good pilot launch, season finale, or anything therein, celebrity involvement, or just telling celebrities it's okay, you're not going to make a mistake, I got you. I'm kind of like your coach in the back, but if you're fighting in the octagon or something like that. But mostly it's a new digital world. We are the Wild West. I am sort of a Billy the Kid in here, but I'm not shooting anyone in the back, and I'm not going away anytime soon.
Real quick, what do you think of the trend on Twitter that seems to be very common with actors, where they will do following back, and they have, they'll have 2.4 thousand something followers, but they're following 2.6 thousand people. Now, there are some, like, quote-unquote real celebrities, but they'll only follow like 500 people and then have thousands. So what do you think of that balance of following back, I'll follow you, you follow me, or just in general of that ratio?
What it comes down to is generally what the person is using social media for. Some people will actually use Twitter, for instance, because that's where the follow back is most effective. They don't want to clutter their feed. So they're only following, a lot of celebrities will only follow the studios that are working with the films that they're doing, so they're in tune.
True.
They will follow their friends so that they know what their friends are doing. They can show the support there, but they just don't want a cluttered feed. They only follow the people that they want to follow. And the people who end up in that list, I mean, if you're looking to work with, say, like Ryan Reynolds, you would look at the people he's following and be like, oh, I want to work with Ryan Reynolds one day. Let me follow the people that he follows.
That's good advice.
And maybe we know someone in common, and just see what this is like, or, maybe I can help him do something. And that's kind of what I do. I help people with social media, and they will give me feedback on my next project, for instance. And that kind of keeps the flow really cooperative and collaborative, because my company is called Collaborative Entity for a reason. We are an entity, and we work with the people. We don't work for them. They don't work for us. We're not separate from them. Everything is a collaboration, because at the end of the day, if they're not a better social media user by the time, if we separate, then we didn't do our job. And then what was even the point of us? So you could pay our company? Great. That's not why we did this. If I was here to make a lot of money, I would charge you more. I'm here to make a difference.
So what is some of your last minute advice social media wise, and for anybody, social media, and what are you currently, actually 3 parts. Social media advice for anybody.
Yes.
What are you currently working on, and where can people find you?
Okay. Social media advice, other than like being authentic.
Anything we've already covered.
Get on social media. It's your voice. Imagine if Twitter and Facebook were the and Instagram, I call them the big 3, were the biggest parties that this world has ever seen, and you just decided not to go. You have no idea what's there. You don't know what kind of fun people are having. You don't know what lives are being changed, or information that you're getting, but you're just electing not to go to the party. Now, I don't have Twitter's official numbers, but Facebook just passed 5 billion active users. You're telling me you don't want to go to a party with 5 billion people? You're like asking
at least check it
to
out,
be anti.
right?
So at least go through the front door.
Yeah.
So if check it out. It's your voice. If you're an actor, you want to have a page. Don't invite every single person you have to your page. Just have a page. Push content out. People will come once you have content, and it's all about content. So if you're interesting and you're pushing out information, if you need information to push out, just be a part of the conversation. So
consistency.
That's consistency, content, quality. What would you want to read? Push out information that you would want to see and be on the opposite end of. The next one, what am I working on next? I have a few things. My heart and soul is dedicated to the evolution of geeks right now. I've recently become an owner of Geekonomicon. We are a convention by geeks, for geeks, from being con goers from, the 90s, not myself, but collectively, to, just having come out of WonderCon and having done 6 to 8 conventions last year myself. I have the ability to make fans' days. To affect geeks, to provide empowerment, so they know that they're sexy and they have something to offer and they're unique and powerful and wonderful, and that there are people that desire them just to be friends platonically or romantically or anything along those lines, and that you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to have a good experience. And we are a destination-based convention, so the first year we have 2 that we've announced, which would be St. Louis and Oklahoma City, and that's where a lot of my motion is going right now, because it's great to produce and make things, but you also want to reach and affect the fans, and this is one of the best ways I know how.
Great. And now where can people find you online?
Collin Pelton is me everywhere, at Collin Pelton with 2 L's, so it's COLLINPELTON. Every platform I try and be very available and keep my branding all the same, so you can find me everywhere.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking about social media and your film and your projects.
Definitely.
Online, you guys can find me online at Kari D. Lane on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at Kari Lane Actor. And follow Collin if you want more advice on social media and content. And I fully agree and support each other and the communities you're involved with, because a rising tide, right, helps everybody out.
Everybody.
Exactly. Again, thank you guys for watching Spotlight on AfterBuzz. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. iTunes 5 stars, and we do read those comments on YouTube, so please say stuff. And make sure we'll see you next time on another exciting episode of Spotlight On. Thanks again for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.